Oh, cheers, darling.
Yes.
Knott's gonna cut the vent off of.
I'm gonna do an introduction. I'll call everyone's name. When I call your name, just say something, anything, so people can hear your voice. Because remember, this will not be video when I release it. It is audio only.
It should be video though. It's foolish of you.
Exactly. If Jim would wear pants, I might release a video.
Don't blame me just because you don't know how to produce a show.
Yo, there's a whole thing about people doing Zoom meetings with no pants on or some shit, yo.
So I'm gonna do the.
Oh, we got new people here.
Yeah, that's Sean.
Yeah.
How you doing?
That's
up?
Sean,
Oh, I
and
gotta
then
be good.
the chap in the red t-shirt is Tim. So it's Sean and Tim.
Hello.
And Mike, we're going to be talking about some festivals and events that they coordinate.
Hey, dude, your backyard's looking super dope, dude.
Yo, you like this shit? Look
Dude,
at
it's
this.
fucking dope.
I'm in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Beach in Hawaii over here. Call me Ziggy Marley. Got that fucking.
I bet you don't got any pants on either. You don't have any pants on, do you?
See, I told you, they'll just keep going. Okay, I'm going to do the intro.
I'm going to take my pants off now.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Pants coming off as we speak.
Wait, who the hell is House of Loose Women?
That's me, darling.
I just need just quiet.
Hey there, welcome Motorcycle Misfits here at the Recycle Garage in sunny Santa Cruz, California.
Oh, that's a good point. I'll just mute
kids.
y'all. Hold on.
Let's get going.
Hey there, welcome to Motorcycles and Misfits here at the Recycle Garage in sunny Santa Cruz, California. Hey everyone, we opened the garage today. What? Yeah. That was kind of a big deal. We'll talk a little bit later about that. But yeah, Bagel is still out there. So let's
open. Here is proof.
There it is. So let's get to who is with us today. Starting, it's Bagler.
Hello. Greetings from the actual Recycle Garage.
Hey everyone, I am Liza, and I have a big twin. Also with us, it's
Is that what you call it?
Emma.
What? No, you have a big. Oh, you do have a big twin.
I do have a big twin.
You have two big twins, darling.
Are you sure it's not a medical condition?
No, she has two big twins, darling. One is Japanese and one is Austrian.
She calls them Siskel and Ebert.
Yeah, there you go. Aloha, darlings. This is Emma. Aloha.
Next, that would be drinking his quarantini. It's not.
What's up, big heads?
All right. And taking advantage of the Zoom meeting protocol, it's Naked Jim with no pants.
Hey, what's happening? No Pants Man here. And Knock may not have a twin, but he does have a third testicle.
That's
I
true.
call him CT.
And
Not
it's
like the
strangely below his nipple.
Like Scaramanga.
And coming to us from his Shangri-La, it's award-winning Mike.
Yo, what up? Coming to you from this hammock right here.
Nice.
How you doing?
And joining us for the first time tonight, we've got Sean.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you. And Tim.
Hey, glad to be here.
Hey,
Excited to be a part of this motley crew for the night.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Oh.
I think we're especially wound up because we actually, I mean, I'll say that, you know, like Jim and I went for a real ride yesterday. Finally, like I feel like busting out. The weather's perfect, but I also think that we've gotten better at how to live in the age of COVID and how to be safe, and you know, taking masks and gloves with us, and
Microdosing.
I even stood in I stood in a food line after our ride to get sausage. Jim wasn't having none of it, but I'm like, sausage, man.
That line was like 12 fools deep too. I'm like,
Yeah, hold on. Did you get? Hold on. Let me just put this in perspective. Liza stood in line for sausage.
Yes, I did. Or a Lichas sausage, man.
I will say, I have to say, Liza,
Even
thank you very
spicier.
much. You brought me 4 spicy apricot Corleone sausages. I'm very appreciative. Thank you.
Yeah, so we finally busted out. And just, I mean, I know every week we talk about what our latest riding stance is. And I still am saying, please don't turn it into a social event. if you're going to ride, go ride it like 80%, just tune it down. If ride alone or with a buddy, because with a buddy is safe. And I think we did that, Jim. We were nice and took it easy, but we did a nice ride. We did twisties, we did dirt, we did it all.
I thought it was fun. It was another beautiful little nook of the Santa Cruz Mountains that we disappeared. It was in the vicinity of the Loma Prieta earthquake back in '89. So buried deep in the mountains, all these weird Zen centers and Indian meditation places and all sorts of crazy stuff. But it was fun. It was a mixed dirt, like dirt roads, beautiful vistas and views all the way across the Watsonville Pajaro Valley to the ocean.
Loma Prieta Road. That's the name of that road.
Yeah.
Is it okay? Yeah, it was beautiful. Definitely some driveways you do not want to go down. But with that said, it was gorgeous. Everybody was cool. I was waving to people. We had the big bikes, which was nice to kind of get back in the groove. And I like the variety of riding. A couple of things, Liza. One, it was dirt, a little bit of freeway to get there, but and it was these really kind of second gear twisties up and downhill on the pavement. And Liza, you were in a situation because you were scrubbing in new tires, right?
Yeah, those Shinkos, which I grew to really trust and feel good. It's always sketchy with like knobbies on pavement, but I felt really good about it.
Yeah, they're the big block Shinkos. I can't remember the 80 or 70, whichever, but the big block Shinkos. And
you took the big bike or the KLR?
No, the big bike.
Oh, okay.
My big twin.
Yeah, but it's my second set of those Shinkos, and the first ones were great. I mean, when you're deep into a right-hander, so to speak, and find a groove in the pavement or something, the knobbies definitely go all wobbly and weird and shit. But other than that, I thought Liza grips pretty good. It's great in the dirt, and even though it's a little more aggressive, I think, than the normal riding we do on those bikes.
Yeah.
When you do need a good grippy fucking knobby, even if it's just mental in your head, it's really nice to know you got those big block tires on there. But they're great. I got about 7,000 miles or so out of the last pair.
Nice.
Yeah, I think we're all getting stir crazy. I mean, people across the country, we're all dealing with different things, and a lot of parts of the country are opening up. Here, they put our stay in shelter order into indefinite mode. Yes.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah, fine with me.
And there's a lot of controversy with beaches being closed because so many people are showing up at the beaches, and we're getting antsy. And what I find helps is to think about what can we plan on doing and when can we get back to some sort of normalcy. And that's why we got Sean and Tim here to talk about some great events that are, fingers crossed, happening this year.
Liza, can I say something?
No.
Knock with his glasses off looks like a combination of Nicolas Cage and fucking Steven Seagal. Okay.
I don't know. He looks kind of like some toast I made this morning.
Whoa, right. Damn.
He looks like a chunk of burning love. I want to get cozy with Knock, man.
I didn't put any sunscreen on, man. I'm a little darker than usual. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, Mike, I just wanted to, real quick, I wanted to thank you for that great segue and introduction to the guys about their events.
Sure. My thing, baby.
He loves to step on my shit all the time. Anyway, so many things have been canceled this year. I mean, almost every event and plans I had this year were canceled. But you guys are running some events, and here's what I love about this too. There's some diversity in here too. So can you guys talk a bit about who you work for, and let's talk about these events that you're putting on?
Yeah, absolutely. This is Tim. I guess I'll kick it off.
Yeah.
First off, stoked to be here. And actually, to the point of events getting canceled, we were supposed to be all together for the Quail Motorcycle Gathering, right? So instead of doing this in person, we're doing this via Zoom. So it's unfortunate that we missed that opportunity. But so I represent Bonnier Events. So Bonnier might be a familiar name. Bonnier Publishing, Bonnier Media, Bonnier Motorcycle Group, which is, Cycle World, Motorcyclist, Dirt Rider, a handful of motorcycle publications. The events division is actually just a separate division from publishing. So Bonnier Events, they do four-wheel jamboree, Sand Sports Super Show, Off-Road Expo, Outdoor Life Field and Stream Expo. And then over here in the corner is our little slice of heaven, which is the motorcycle events.
Yes.
So Bonnier Motorcycle Events is where we spend 100% of our time, and really other than our participation in Quail, which is kind of on behalf of Geico, one of our sponsor partners, it's really 3 events. It's an event called Hotbike that takes place in the summertime. It's kind of a scrambler centric event. It's an event called Built to Ride Tour, formerly Hotbike Tour. This year, like you said, fingers crossed, everything will go to plan. We'll be back in Tennessee, actually kicking off in Birmingham, Alabama, then ending up in Johnson City, Tennessee. And then the third final event is Adventure Rally, which is happening in November, also in Southern California. So to your point, absolutely diverse set of events, really something for everybody. And we're really fortunate to be in a situation where we can plan events and have get-togethers on a regular basis and call it work. Right. So, like you said, there's some uncertainty at the moment, unfortunately, but we're all kind of in the same boat. So we're approaching this like, hey, we're planning on this stuff going to happen, because the last thing we want to do is get caught with our pants off like Jim. And not have the plan in place.
It gets expensive, I tell you what, son.
We're operating, with that mindset that regardless of what the future may hold, we're pushing forward like these events are going to happen. And if they need to be, rescheduled or postponed, so be it. We'll address it as it comes. But otherwise, we're moving forward with everything as planned.
So let's talk about some of these events. So Hotbike, I've been hearing about this for a few years now. It's really
I have too. That seems
building
cool.
up. Yeah. It's not that old. Was it 4 years? 5 years?
Yeah. This coming July's event will be our 4th year.
Yeah. Okay.
And this was an event that for the first 2 years was held up at China Peak in the Sierra Mountains, and just based on proximity and some feedback from attendees. We moved it last year down to Wrightwood, California at the Mountain High Ski Resort, which is, I don't know, an hour-ish or less drive from a ride from LA. So, it's very accessible from LA, Orange County, San Bernardino. And we saw a huge spike in attendance. And really, it's kind of a, scrambler-centric, ride by day, camp by night. So it's I wouldn't call it necessarily like a big festival or even a rally so much as just kind of a large gathering, kind of a hang. The great thing is about this event is that it gives people an opportunity, especially in the SoCal area that have, maybe a scrambler type motorcycle, to actually get it off of PCH and get, out into the dirt roads and the trails and that sort of thing. But
it's like calling them out. Like, come on, man. This is what it's made for.
It's kind of like calling them out, but at the same time, it's like, hey, we're providing an opportunity for you to kind of put your bike through its paces, which you don't get on a day-to-day basis, and a chance to kind of dip your toe in the water. So we're not going crazy off-road. We're not going. Nothing is about it is very extreme necessarily. I mean, it's as extreme as you want to make it. But it's fire roads, it's lead follow rides. There's a lot of demo rides. So, actually a ton of people showed up on 4 wheels, parked their car and went and tried out. Ducati was up there this last year with a bunch of their scrambler demos.
So my question for you, Tim, was, you're across the board in terms of ability. That event, Hotbike, would appeal to somebody who's got very little experience, as well as somebody who's got more experience. You're going to cater for them all, right?
Yeah, you're quite right. In fact, that's the beauty of this kind of event is, like I said, we've got brand new, riders that are showing up with bikes with very low miles on them. And we're taking them on slow lead follow rides onto fire roads and that sort of thing. And then guys that have been riding for years and years and years that join us for the barbecue and the camp and all that kind of stuff, but then they peel off and we send them on more difficult routes and that sort of thing.
It's not Ayresburg, right? It's not.
No, not Ayresburg.
So is there a hipsters versus old men rumble that happens?
It's
I'm like, this is the 2 categories, right?
Unofficial, but yeah.
So, I'm just curious, what's the most popular bike is? 'Cause I'm wondering if it's the new like Scramblers, Ducatis, or are people bringing all the old Hondas out? What's more common?
We saw quite a few of the Ducati Scramblers out there. Actually, last year there was quite a few folks with the new Triumph Scrambler that were out there, putting that through its paces. In fact, funny little anecdote, there was two guys that had just bought those bikes, came up there, and both were experiencing like what they call buyer's remorse. Like, we didn't know if this was the right bike for us. And after they were done with us for the weekend, they were like, this was absolutely the right bike, because we were able to take them on some, on some trails and some different rides that helped the bike stretch its legs a little bit,
Well, we had that's cool. We had a guy come through the garage on that Triumph. Is it a 1200 Scrambler?
Oh,
Right? That nice tall one.
He came by today.
Oh, was he really?
And we had a Ducati Scrambler here today too.
Oh, no way.
And I was saying like, dude, that bike makes me want to do bad things.
We took that Triumph up into the fire roads up in the mountains, like up a bit above Big Sur, and that thing ripped. He was jamming on that thing. Super.
Yes, but Jim, you should know that anything that's made in Britain is far superior to anything else in the world by a long shot. By a long shot.
A wee bit.
Yes.
Yeah, one of the benefits. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Sean. I
was going to say one of the benefits of moving from China Peak down to Wrightwood, as beautiful as China Peak was day rides. A lot of people actually were able to come up just for the day. Sometimes it's hard to commit to that whole 3-4 days away from work and everything. Being down in LA, we got a lot of day riders just came up for the day. Right. Maybe they spent one night, a couple guys, they would ride up for the day, go back home, and then ride up the next day just to get the adventure, but still be able to be within proximity to their house.
Right. And I know I'm going. I know I'm going back to this, but the thing that appeals to me the most about this is the inclusivity. Our mission at the garage is, if you're just starting out, you're going to have a great experience at the garage. Conversely, you can have been riding for 10, 20 years, in my case, a little longer than that, and you're still going to be welcome and get a great experience at the garage. We bring everybody in. And I truly believe this is the way the future of motorcycling is going to be. The more inclusive we can be, the more successful we can be.
Yeah. Oh, you're exactly right. And in fact, that's really been, our philosophy in the way that we've managed these events, and also within the last probably 18 months, the way that we've evolved these events to be more inclusive. And really, to your point, and I think, the way that things are going is it's really about the community and the camaraderie first, what you ride second, and how long you've been riding, or, how you ride, or whatever, way down the line, down the list. And so for High Pipe, actually all of these events, you'll kind of see that theme woven through.
Yeah.
It's very important to us, that it's just get out there and ride. Doesn't matter what you're on.
If I go back to when I started off in the mid 70s, the biggest hurdle that a lot of us beginners had attending events back then were the people who were attending the events. And it was almost like a rite of passage that you were going to get your ass kicked. And, that's how things were back then. But you can't get away with that kind of nonsense now.
Right.
So,
yeah, but there was also like gangs in the 30s and Al Capone too, Emma. You know what I mean?
It was after that, darling.
It was a gritty time, you know what I mean? Tommy guns and all that
that was
shit.
why she didn't go.
No, I bounced Al Capone on my knee as a toddler. Yeah. Oh my God.
That's where he got the hep from.
Hey, just curious, Tim, no judgment being passed. What do you ride?
Sure. Actually, right at the moment, I do not own a non-dirt bike.
Thanks for asking that, Liza, so we could rib him a little bit to open up his wallet.
No.
Okay, I'm judging you now.
Yeah, no, you can absolutely judge. Yeah, full
Welcome
transparency.
to the judgment zone.
full transparency. Yeah, I have had a fortunate opportunity to work in the motorcycle industry for a lot of years and have access to some really fantastic motorcycles. And so at the moment, what's in the garage is just a handful of Yamaha dirt bikes for me and the family. But anything pertaining to the street is I'm just swinging legs over loaners at the moment.
So we talking TTRs, YZs? What do you got in there?
Both TTRs and YZs.
Okay.
Oh, right on.
So you got the full spectrum.
I, on the other hand, pay for my
Yep.
motorcycles.
Go ahead. Yep. Sean's really good at busting my balls. Busting my balls about
Sean's
it.
got to get something off his chest here.
He does. He really does.
No.
Let it go, man. We're here for you, bro.
I'm waiting for Liza's judgment. I actually have a Harley. So.
There it is. Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Which one?
I have a 2014 Ultra Limited.
It's an old man.
It is.
Sean's
Starts as an old man bike.
In a young man's body.
With the amount of money that I've put into it, it's turned into a young man's bike. So,
there it is.
But then I also have a 2010 KTM 450 EXC.
See, that's the
closest
thing.
I can get to a dirt bike with a license plate.
That's the thing. Again, if you have a Harley and something not Harley, full respect for me. That tells me you know exactly what you want and what it's for. That's what I love. And the Harley is the tool that you want to do the job.
And the Harley is what gets us comfortably up to your neck of the woods on those beautiful rides up PCH.
Nice.
And Sean, I have a top tip for you about your KTM because I have one on my bench right now.
Okay.
Keep your eye on the valves because this one, the top end of the engine just grenaded because of the valves. So if you haven't put valves in it recently, it's time.
All right. I'll keep that in mind. Yeah, I love that bike. You know, it's funny. It's still carbureted. You know, the carbureted 2010, and guys, you know, that are getting the new EFIs, and they're like, you know, you need to trade that in. I think that's going to be a lifetime bike. I love that bike. You know,
it's funny. A very, very dear friend of mine, Brian, has a CRF 450, the old one from 2001, carbureted.
Right.
And he just bought one of the brand new ones.
Nice. I neglected to say I do have a 05 CRF 250.
There you
Same
go.
as my friend's 2001. He actually thinks that the 2001 makes a great deal more power than the newer one. It's a very different. It's a different way of producing the power. It's a lot more raw and visceral.
Right.
But they're, you know, these old carbureted dirt bikes. It's quite an experience. It's nothing like the new fuel injected stuff.
Absolutely.
I have a question for you guys as far as festivals go, because I've had an event, a motorcycle event that was already. A couple of us did the Carrizo Plains ride.
Yeah.
So clearly, obviously, that was canceled, and I think we were all looking forward to that one. Quail's been canceled. You know, and then moving forward, especially in California, there's so much conflicting information out there with the United States, and then California in and of itself, we're kind of don't really know what's going to happen next. So I've got tickets to another show in June, but they just pushed that one back to September. So because I'm assuming there's so much to do to try to move events a few weeks back because it's already been booked. But I think also too, people will be a little bit more understanding. I think everybody is just because. But what are you guys doing to reach out to people who are interested in the events and kind of coordinate with people, let them know what's happening and update?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, we're keeping in touch with all event registrants, currently registered, but then also event attendees from previous years that we've got in an email database. Just keeping in touch with them, telling them, hey, these are our plans, and if they should change, you'd be the first to know. And with the contingency plan comes a really robust refund policy. There's really we're trying to reduce barriers as much as possible because right now there is a lot of uncertainty and fear and question marks. So for all of us, so on the planning side of things, it's just a matter of contingency plans with the facilities, with the sponsors, with all parties involved. And then on the attendee side of things, it's having some just one-off conversations. I've talked to quite a few people on the phone and just kind of get their gut on, hey, how you feeling? What are you thinking? I think a really good case in point, and we'll get to it when we talk about Adventure Rally, is, we've seen a huge uptick in the last probably 3 weeks in registrations, because it's, we say, hey, look, it's in November, it's far enough away where, we're really hopeful that everything's going to go off no problem. If it doesn't, though, we're going to give you your money back. And if we reschedule and you want to come, great. If you don't worry about it.
I get it. So What if somebody, say for instance, like how would I fall into the information that you guys put out there? Say if I'm not committed to one of your events, or say I'm not on an old email list from doing stuff, like where would I run into, say, some postings and stuff like that? And also, how do people find out more information about, like, what's going on? Because I don't follow everything, but I'll see on Instagram somebody will repost about a show that I didn't commit to, but now it's got me thinking. So like how does that happen for you guys, where you can connect with people?
Yeah, we've got our websites and our social media channels that we keep updated, and things like this.
Exactly. Here we go.
This is huge.
This is it.
Yeah,
This is everything.
this is
There's about 17 people in North America.
6 of them are here.
That was one of the great things when we were able to reach out to Liza was to be able to try and get this word out, because everybody's at home right now, so going to your local dealership and seeing a flyer, that's probably not going to happen right now. So getting on with you guys one way, our social media obviously is a big push. We try and get out there to as many groups that are related to adventure rally, being adventure bikes and things like that, to get that word out, to get people interested. And our hope, like Tim said, is that we are further down in the year and there's so much uncertainty, but our hope is that things are going to open up and these will be the events that should be at that time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious because I'm going to forget the question, and I want to definitely talk about the adventure rally, but before we do, the event that you have with builders, I'm super curious about that, and Emma and Mike might be curious as well, because
the Tennessee thing.
We talk to a lot of guys that build bikes at the One Show and a bunch of other places, and they tend to be the nicest, most grounded, coolest people. And what a great way to have access to people, like on the road, like having a little adventure. Shit probably breaks down. I'd like to hear more about that.
But before we jump into that, I just want to finish up with the Hotbike Festival, July 17th through 19th.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing I love about this, what's the cost to get in?
It's $25 for the weekend.
$25 for the weekend.
Yeah.
But here's the other thing too, what I like about these festivals. I think Daytona Bike Week was a bad idea. I still think Sturgis Bike Week, they're going forward with it. I still think it's a bad idea to have that many people. They were expecting almost 1 million people at Sturgis. You guys have manageable numbers at the Hotbike Festival. What's your prediction? How many did you have last year?
Yeah, we're I think last year was, I want to say it was 350 or something like that. And there, there's a mix of, folks that we got about 300 motorcycles, and then there's a mix of people that were actually there in cars, to either just check it out or, test motorcycles.
And that's something else I like about this. These are smaller rallies that you're better able to contain and make it a safer event.
The other thing too, though, is that, like you're saying about Sturgis, is if it's anything like the Hollister rally, it's really a bunch of people stuffed in, small areas, shuffling around, looking at, the same T-shirt in every fucking booth. I mean, I think what they're doing is it's kind of it's designed in essence to be 6 feet apart. You're on a motorcycle, you know what I mean? And at some points you're not around people. And you're bringing your own shelter in place with you, or your family or your friends. That,
we were well ahead of the curve. We didn't even realize it,
you guys got a good marketing plan.
Thank you.
So let's talk about this next event. It's the Built to Ride Tour. This is October 13th to 17th. This goes from Birmingham, Alabama to Johnson City, Tennessee.
Yes, we're really excited about the Built to Ride Tour. And just a bit of history, the Built to Ride Tour is not that new. It's just new in name. So it actually was born out of what was the Hotbike Tour. And actually at its first inception was the Hotbike Power Tour. So you've heard of the tour. It's taken on many forms over the years. But last year, as a lead up to the event, and as unfortunately the way things go in the publishing world, Hotbike Magazine ceased publication. So with Hotbike Magazine ceasing publication, which was one of the brands within the Bonnier kind of realm, it really left us at a crossroads. So we had to make a determination on whether or not to move forward with the name Hotbike Tour, or maybe pivot a little bit. So nothing wrong with keeping the name Hotbike Tour, with the exception of the builders and Jim, to your point about builders, the builders were really excited about an opportunity to be featured in Hotbike. So it was kind of misleading, you know, to continue to call it Hotbike Tour. And at the same time, and kind of, I think we were talking about this earlier, we really have seen this pivot to inclusivity. And, you know, there's no doubt that Hotbike was very specific in the audience that it catered to. And the Built to Ride Tour, the vision, and really what came to fruition last year is that anybody's welcome. Anybody's welcome.
Where we see that a lot is at the one show. I mean, me, Emma, Mike, you know, a bunch of us went up there. Well, we've been up there for like 4 or 5 years now. And it gets more inclusive every year. And you want to talk about engaging young people. That's one of the first things I say is look at all these young people. But it's a great variety of people that go to that. And I like the trend. It's really awesome.
Jim, in comparison to me, everyone is a young person. I mean, you know, Sean looks about 12.
I wish.
Almost 13.
I really wish.
Tim probably 13 or 14.
Oh, I'm older than John.
Okay. Hey, Emma, regardless, Emma, you swept me off my feet from the very moment I saw your painted toes and pearls. So,
oh, God almighty.
So, yeah, go back with Built to Ride, like Emma was talking about earlier, you know, you know, in the past, you might have felt a little uncomfortable at certain rallies.
Right.
The whole thing about Built to Ride Tour is if you have 2 wheels on the ground, you're welcome. Mm-hmm. And, you know, there's some of the most amazing riding in the United States out where that is, you know, through Tennessee, through all those, the mountain areas and all that stuff. But if you're on 2 wheels, you're there. And so it's a much more open environment for all riders to be involved in.
And what a great way to talk to people, like ask questions like, hey, how did you do that? Or how would you do this? And, or maybe even make repairs on the fly. You know, you're heading down the road and something falls off and you got these cool creative people that can help you do that kind of stuff. I think I enjoy spending my time around people that can help you learn to be a better mechanic and a better builder, and like hands-on wise.
Well, the thing I like about this too is so many people, there was a certain trend of building custom bikes that were just art. They weren't as much about function. This, you gotta ride your thing. Like
you gotta ride your thing. Yeah,
you gotta ride your thing. It's not just about look at all the, you know, cool things I put on here.
Right.
You know, so
you've got
it's a rolling motorcycle show.
Yeah, it's a rolling motorcycle show, and it always has been, and we wanted to stay true to those roots, but at the same time increasing that inclusivity and really getting people excited about it. Also from the perspective, as you were kind of talking about too, Jim, with kids, is we want people to be able to see the rally or participate in our stops in the evenings, you know, at each different city. Even if they're not riding, we want the community to come together and see all these bikes and have young people say, that's awesome, I want to do that. And you know, see that there's a wide range of ages, see that there's a wide range of motorcycles. And then also now, see from a bike builder standpoint, like you're seeing at the one show, or you're seeing, you know, with Revival Cycles show in Austin, like that you're seeing a complete wide mix of motorcycles. It doesn't have to be one specific, you know, when you thought of customs even just a few years ago, it was very different than what it is now. So,
and like,
you know, last year we had a DR650, we had an R9T tracker. It was a very wide spectrum of motorcycles that the builders brought in.
Tim, give me the dates for this show, please.
So this show is October 13th through the 17th. And last year we kicked off in Nashville, Tennessee, ended up in Johnson City with a stop in Birmingham at Barber Motorsports Park, where our long rider attendees got to spend all day in the museum and then also got to get out on the track. That was a huge win for everybody. So Mike, this year we're going to start there,
right,
and then make our way up to Johnson City, which is a you know, a partner of ours now, and we're kind of working the tour around that hub.
Are
Mike,
you taking a road trip? Yeah, I knew it was.
Yeah, no, Mike, do you want to go?
Tennessee?
Yeah. You can take Captain Crunch, and I'll take the Turbo, because I think it'll be finished by then.
Yeah, Tim,
I'm going to get my Softail back, though.
Tim, you want to know what she's building?
Yeah.
I mean,
go ahead, Emma. Tell them what you're building.
So I got given a 1975 Honda Goldwing. This was a long time ago. And It sat in my garage for a long time because it was just so ugly. I didn't know what to do with it because, back then, the idea was you just bolted everything on these bikes. I mean, the biggest fairing, the biggest saddlebags, everything. And I always wanted to do a naked Goldwing. And the project kind of took its own direction. About 18 months after I got the bike, and I'd just been sitting looking at it in my garage, a very dear friend of mine rolled his Subaru Impreza, and the car was completely totaled, but he pulled the turbo off and gave it to me as a memento of his car. And I thought,
I see where this is going.
Yeah.
I thought, if I put that turbo on the Goldwing, it'll look really cool. So I started with that, and then I realized very, very quickly that the suspension wouldn't be up to it, the wheels wouldn't be up to it, and so on and so forth. So I built this thing, but I've built it in the flavor of a 1975 bike. So it's got big fat radials on it, it's got big disc brakes, it's got everything that you would expect a bike with 200 horsepower to have.
It's a big pink turbo cafe racer,
but it looks like it looks like a 1970s bike.
Oh man, it sounds awesome.
Yeah.
And it's pink.
Yeah.
Very, very pink.
And that's what you're bringing to the Built to Ride tour?
I'd like to. I mean, I've
Yes.
got a custom Moto Guzzi as well. That's kind of my default bike.
They won't know what it is. They'll think your motor's sideways.
But
yeah.
Mike has got the most beautiful custom Harley Davidson called Captain Crunch, which is an absolutely gorgeous thing as well. So
she's pretty.
Yeah, she's a pretty, pretty bike. So, we're out of the Misfits, we're kind of the builders, me and Mike.
Okay.
Just checking, if I put some Kuryakin grips on my Africa Twin, can I go?
There you go.
Absolutely. You can bring the Built to Ride tour is so inclusive that you can bring the Africa Twin without your Kuryakin grips.
I know, but I want to fit in,
Floorboards.
Everybody fits in. Everybody fits in.
All right.
Yeah.
And so this event it's $55.
So let me explain. So it's $55. Here's the thing I'll say across the board for our events. Our objective is to not put so much of the expense onto the attendee, but really take care of costs with sponsorship dollars.
There you go.
Right? It's a very hard line to walk, and obviously you see the size of our events are fairly small in numbers, but what the sponsors have begun to realize is that the attendees are the core enthusiasts that are also the ones that are ambassadors for their products and their programs. Right. So they see value in it. And as long as they continue to see value in it and sponsor, then we can keep the cost of entry for attendees fairly low.
Right. And how's that going to manifest itself? So let's say me and Mike go to the event.
Sure.
As a prerequisite of going to the event and paying a $55, do we have to sit through an hour's presentation of Duff Beer or something? I don't know. Right?
It's not a timeshare, is it?
It's not. No, it's not. Not this one. Not this one. No.
If the brunt of the cost is being met by the sponsors,
correct.
That's a give and take. So there's going to be pushback from the sponsors, like, we will meet that cost, but this is what you give us. Well, so that's my question.
Right, sure. Well, the great thing is, because we're in the driver's seat, granted, we need sponsorship dollars to make things work. But at the same time, our partners understand how we build value in the events and how we keep the attendees coming back year over year. And that's not making them sit through a presentation, about, part numbers and timeshare-esque kind of thing. So what's interesting about the Built to Ride tour is that $55 is actually the fee for what we call our long riders. And it's if you want to participate in the duration of the event from start to finish, and be involved in kind of some of the exclusive, like, the VIP kickoff with the builders, the kind of the get together each evening that we have in each city. You would get all your maps, your t-shirt, all of that kind of stuff. if you don't want to pay that $55 and you still want to kind of ride with us from point to point and kind of make your own plan, anyone's welcome. And in Johnson City at the end is an open street, we're downtown. It's an open street party for whoever wants to attend with no cost involved either. So the $55 is really just if you want to be this kind of all in, we call them long riders, committed for the duration. You're riding, hanging out with the builders. You are, you're kind of in the mix, so to speak.
Tim, how many days is this? And because it sounds like $55 sounds like it's a great price for it too. And how many partners do you guys have? Right.
Well, quite a few partners. Our primary partner in this, and actually all of our events is Geico Motorcycle. Mm-hmm. So fortunately, we're able to put together a really great program because of them. And it's October 13th through 17th. So we're kicking off in Birmingham. Then we're moving through Tennessee. To get to Johnson City. So Chattanooga, Knoxville, Johnson City, and then we'll be 2 days in Johnson City.
And then, do you guys provide a chase vehicle to pick up all the parts that fall off?
So the great thing about the motorcycle community and about even our attendees, Sean and I, and then, some of our other colleagues, we're all in this together. And, while we don't necessarily advertise, hey, we're going to come scoop you up off the side of the road. We do have chase vehicles. We do help everyone out. Everybody gets, from point A to point B. Everyone's, together in the evening, cracking the beer. It's nice. We make sure that everyone makes it. So. Yeah.
I just want to mention, it's funny you guys were talking about how awesome the roads are down there, and that area in Tennessee, right? Tail of Dragon, all that kind of stuff is bitching. We have a dear podcast friend who's a custom bike builder in that part of Tennessee.
Matt Harris,
40 Cal Customs, who won the Best in Show at the 3 years ago?
Yeah.
But he's a Harley guy. He builds and races old kind of board trackers.
Well, and they build those Harley scramblers too.
He talks about riding through the woods in Tennessee on these Harley scramblers.
Oh, no way.
Dudes on adventure bikes on the big BMWs and all their climb gear and shit forever. All of a sudden they'll see the guys in front of them start looking around because they hear the Harleys ripping through the woods. And Matt and his posse will just bomb through on these Harley scramblers.
Check out Matt Harris, 40 Cal Customs.
Oh yeah, we'll definitely check that out.
One of the most solid dudes ever. He's fun. Down to earth, cool, creative, legit. Anyway.
Oh man,
that's one of the reasons we're doing something like this, is to be able to find stuff out like that. Having him there would be a great addition.
Yeah.
To have him over at Built to Ride Tour.
There. Yeah, Smoky Mountain Harley Davidson. He partners up with him and build these. Harley scrambler trackers. They ride through the Tennessee woods.
Oh, that's fantastic.
The only issue I see, Mike, for you is that Built to Ride is middle of October, and the next event is middle of November, and you're going to want to do this one too. So you're going to have to. This is going to be a hard call for you, Mike, because November I'm planning on attending. Jim, you're planning on attending the Adventure Rally. What? Now I'm going to have to take those Kuriak and grips off my Africa Twin for that.
Yes. Yeah.
Wait, so hold on. Let me just get this right. So what I'm hearing, sorry, my battery died. So let me get this right.
Okay.
So this Built to Ride, this is kind of like a classy dirtbag challenge?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah,
okay.
Sounds like it.
So you're rolling up on a bike that you want to present for whatever category, Softail or metric custom, and then you're riding at a distance, and at the end, or along the way at some point it gets judged, and then maybe you lose, but part of it's right.
That's a great question. So yes, it is. It's actually invited builders. So we want to, and we're really, kind of opening it up to even just like you're mentioning, Matt Harris. I mean, we want this to be inclusive and family, and, we want to find, people that are interested in participating, but we want to secure the builders ahead of time so that we know who they are, and they're kind of, we call them like the invited builders. So then those builders are all eligible for that prize. Last year was $10,000 winner take all.
What?
Right? And then each night,
my microphone back on.
each night is each stop, each evening. Then voting is open to anyone and everyone. So we have Johnson City being the biggest last 2 nights, but each night we stop in a different town and we kind of, let people know we're there. We park the bikes, we have them displayed. We have electronic voting, we're out kind of in the streets hanging out. So it's
so the builders aren't riding their bikes.
I'm sorry?
So the builders are not riding their bikes. The rides for just like everybody else, but the builders' bikes are being brought to different places.
No. Sorry, let me clarify. The builders are riding their bikes as well. Everyone's riding. And so the builders' eligibility hinges on whether or not that bike can make it to the end.
So real biker shit.
This is like straight up. This is legit. This is like legit born free / dirtbag challenge across state lines. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
this is exactly what this sounds like.
Yeah, and
invited builders. No Cook's Corner, but each night is a Cook's Corner.
Yeah, man, you hit the nail on the head. Absolutely. And let me just make sure I'm really clear with the caveat that it is anyone and everyone is eligible and welcome to come. And the one thing that we've found over the years, is that it got kind of pigeonholed into. And I agree with the way you're describing it because that's basically what it is. But what I want for some, dude to build some crazy Africa Twin something or other and, ride the whole thing with, with his kid on the back. And you know what I mean? Like, and have it not be so like, dirtbag, but it's inclusive to anything that rides. So last year was a good kickoff, with, like I said, DR650, R9T tracker. There was the Hyper Scrambler that Hugo Eccles brought. So there was a good mix of bikes. But let's be honest, we're all at the end of the day like a bunch of dirtbag riders that participating.
That is
Why
true.
did Sean look so mad?
Not at all. I agree with Tim.
Sean looks so mad.
Two things,
He doesn't have a beer. He doesn't have a beer in his hand right now. That's why
I'm upstairs and I don't have my beer. My beers are downstairs.
Rookie mistake.
Two things I was thinking about when you mentioned the family thing, and Matt Harris actually is a family guy too. He's got kids. But the other thing I wanted to talk about is you mentioned this twice, that when you guys do this and you roll up in a town, and like the old biker image I think is kind of gone, the beer cans and all that. But when you come in, it's kind of interesting for people to see. All of a sudden, all this stuff that they normally never see. We were watching the movie, the New England BDR film last week, and we were watching that. And that was one of the cool things about that ride is those BDR people would come into these trippy towns in upstate New York. And the people were so like excited to see the motorcycles, to talk to the people. And of course, you have people like Jocelyn Snow as part of the group, who makes it more fascinating, of course. But it seems cool, like you guys will roll through these small towns in the Smoky Mountains, Appalachia, and these badass custom builders with actually quite nice people will roll into your town and have lunch and talk to you and show off their bike, and you can take pictures. It sounds great.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you for hitting on that, because it's true. It's, we're kind of, it's a disarming group. It really is, because people can walk up to them and, strike up conversation, ask about the bike, take pictures, that sort of thing. And the builders are there like each night where they're hanging out, next to their bikes, answering questions and encouraging people to vote for them. And, it's introducing a new segment or a kind of a different part of, motorcycle community to non-riders.
There you go.
Yeah.
So,
you know what that reminds me of? It's one of my favorite things is when you're riding around and random people come up and tell you, well, yeah, or they'll just be like, just come up to you and start talking to you about this bike they had 20 years ago, or and they'll do this creative people that put things back together with very limited parts, and just the way that they live up in the mountains there, that they would come out and really appreciate handwork and detail stuff like that.
Hey, Mike, turn off your turn off your video because your audio is breaking up. You don't have as good of a connection right now.
Okay. Turn off my video.
So, yeah, I want to talk about the Adventure Rally, though, because this is the one I am holding on for hope that this still happens. November 12th through 15th in Julian, California. I assume that's down in Southern California.
Yes.
Correct.
Yep.
Tell us about the Adventure Rally.
Sean, I think you should kick this one off.
Yeah, Adventure Rally. Adventure Rally is a great event. A lot of people have been to several different types of these motorcycle events, and I think Adventure Rally has kind of taken a turn to become its own style of event. We talked about scavenger hunt earlier, and that's essentially what this is. So Adventure Rally is open to anybody and everybody that no matter your skill level. And basically the prerequisite is that you have a license plate on your dirt bike. So we have big bikes there, like Liza, you ride the Africa Twin, the BMW GSs, all the way down to like I ride the 450 KTM, which is essentially a dirt bike. So we have the small bikes, the big bikes, and it's 3 days of riding, and we give you a map and we give you a book, and there's over 100 waypoints, and there are points of interest, and your job is to basically map it out, go find it. We don't give you GPS coordinates. The areas inside this map are all the way south of the Mexican border, Tecate border area, all the way north to Palomar Mountain, and then east of the Salton Sea, and everywhere in between. So
that is awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool to see every night how the teams are 2 or more, and like I said, skill levels are anywhere across the board. You could ride all asphalt the whole 3 days if you wanted to, but there is some very challenging dirt, sand. You go up in the mountains, you're out in the sandy washes. So and then there's levels, beginner through advanced. Jim, you had a question?
Yeah, I'm curious. Well, now I have a couple of. One is I'm sure the riding is beginning, intermediate, advanced. How about the scavenger hunt? Do you have different levels for that? Just kind of kidding, but in reality, if you're coming, like say me and Liza come down as a team, yeah, I can tell Liza has the scavenger hunt gene in her. She is going to come to win. Do you kind of have to have a little bit of local knowledge of as far as terrain and going off road, or can we come from out of town? And I'm sure we'll have a great time. But what would that be like?
But I'm sure local knowledge might give you a slight advantage in some of this, but because maybe if you've ridden those areas, Ocotillo Wells, up in the hills of Julian and stuff, if you've ridden those areas, maybe you know a little bit about it, but the points of interest are going to be something that you're going to have to go find. Some of them may be, known to most people. Other ones may be not known at all. It might just be a sign on the side of a trail that you're going to need to locate. But what's cool about it is, we give you this big indestructible map that we got last year. So you lay it out, everybody's having beers the night before, and you just kind of pick a region and say, hey, you know what, tomorrow let's concentrate on this region. And what happens is 8 a.m., one of your team members comes in and you clock out. We have an actual clock out machine. And then you go to ride, and you got to be checked back in by 5 p.m. So if you check out after 5 p.m., you're going to lose some points. So it makes everything fair and even. So everybody's got the exact same amount of time to ride. And yeah, everybody's hanging out around the campfire and kind of putting their strategy together as to where they're going to go.
Well, there's another thing that is going on at this event that I'm looking forward to, and I believe that has to do with Lance Thomas. Is this still happening? Adventure Brothers and some training? Yes,
absolutely. Yep, Lance Thomas is out there. He's been with us for the last couple of years, actually, and last year was probably by far the most successful, and I think it was just based on word of mouth and the popularity of people realizing, again, with that inclusivity, that they didn't need to be expert adventure riders to attend. In fact, they could come and take training on the spot.
Yeah, and so for our listeners out there, you may remember a friend of the show, Sean Thomas from BMW, who's into adventure riding and is always there at the BMW, the GS Trophy, stuff like that. Well, Lance is his brother, and the two of them do training, so very knowledgeable in training, and I'm looking forward to that. So looks like you can sign up for that, pay a little bit extra, and get some training, small group training, I assume, with Lance.
Correct. Yep, correct. In fact, we had quite a few people take advantage of that. And then what was interesting is a few people that hadn't originally signed up for that training found out about it the first night, kind of after everyone was done riding, and then just went ahead and signed up because, it's just the idea of, continual improvement and, development, personal development when it comes to riding skills. And everybody, regardless of skill level, that joined his class walked away with something. And yeah, everyone was super stoked on it. And most everyone took what he taught and used it out in the field for the scavenger hunt that same day or the next day. And
that's super cool.
Had a great time with that.
Had
a really great time with that.
Oh, yeah. Those guys are silly. The Thomas brothers are a silly couple of fellas, boy. The videos they make.
Go knock.
Yeah, I've always found out like these kinds of rides and rallies or whatever, super supportive, and so I think it's definitely worth people's while.
Yeah, last year we had a great mechanic that was there, and he was there to support people. If they had issues with their bikes, because our whole thing is, hey, you come down for 3 days, we want you to be able to ride all 3. Mm-hmm. So we had a mechanic there, and that guy was amazing to help get people back on the trail.
Awesome.
It's been a joy to watch this thing grow to a big community area. We had now you can also purchase the food package, so which was really cool to see last year. It seemed like most people purchased it, and which brought everybody together in the evenings, after riding around the campfire. One night we watched the BDR film, the kickoff that last night, the award ceremony and all that stuff. We had a great live band playing there. People were dancing. It was just a really cool experience, and it's great to see this thing grow and hear people talk about it. We love hearing what people thought, what suggestions they give us for next year, and we really like to take those into account and try and apply them.
Well, and let's talk about cost again, because this is so affordable. So for the rally, for the adventure rally, $85 or $170 if you want the food package. And that's for what, 3 days of food?
4 days of food. Actually, it was breakfast and dinner. Lunch is on you. Some people are hardcore and they want all the points they can get, and they're eating just whatever they packed in their pack. And other people, like Tim and I one year, were like, hey, we went and got a great burger and an apple pie and Julian, for lunch. So it all depends on which way you want to do it.
Well, and the thing I really like too, we talked about how affordable all these are, but we've got a special deal for our listeners too.
Yes.
What?
Yes, we do.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, we're so appreciative of being, invited to come and chat with you guys, that we wanted to offer the Misfits a 20% off code for
there it is.
Our events. So between now and May 15th, if you enter Misfits 20 at checkout, then you'll get that 20% off on any and all events that we talked about.
And let's just recap, because these are 3 different events: highpipemoto.com, builttoridetour.com, and advrally.com. How did you get that domain, ADV Rally?
Yeah. Well, in fact, well before I was with the organization, the Adventure Rally's been around for a while, and they snatched that up. So yeah, go to any of these and get your tickets, and at checkout, type in Misfits 20. Code is good till May 15th. Yes.
So you got 2 weeks to sign up. But you guys already said if it gets canceled, you guys are going to offer refunds.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's one, I'll give the caveat just so full disclosure. It's one thing that's out of our control. There's a $3 processing fee that comes with the transaction when you sign up that it's not part of the refund. So $3, you're on the hook for $3. But otherwise, it's, we're offering refunds or reschedule. If we reschedule the date and it works for you, great. We'll apply the funds over. If not, you'll get a refund, and we'll hope to see you next year. And like Mike was asking early on, we're doing our best to communicate via social, via website, email, just to let everyone know kind of the status of everything. And but we're operating under the assumption that everything's still a go. And so all the dates that we just talked about are all set, live, and if anything changes, we'll let you know. Hopefully not, fingers crossed, this stuff gets lifted and we can get back out there and rally together with each other.
What's your Instagram as far as your social media goes? Because that's pretty.
Sure. Thanks for asking. Go ahead, Sean.
We could throw out all of them. So Hotbike Moto is at Hotbike Moto for Instagram. Built to Ride is at Built to Ride Tour. And then for Adventure Rally, it's at ADV_rally. And we're constantly trying to update those things and let you guys know about who's showing up and different events that are going to happen, and any updates.
Yep. Yeah.
Well, and I want to thank you guys for giving us a code to give it to our listeners. We love giving stuff to listeners too, and I was wondering if you can help me in giving away an Evil Knievel.
Oh wow!
I think the winner is Tim. I think Tim just won.
Don't say we never gave you guys nothing,
dude. So I don't know if you guys are following, but the original Evil Knievel toy is back, and every week we are giving one of these away. So and the way we do this is we ask a trivia question and people answer via email and they're entered to win. Last week's question was, Emma, do you remember the question?
I do indeed. The question was, everybody knows Evel Knievel was a professional stuntman. But that wasn't the first sport he was as a professional. What was that sport and what was the name of his team? What sport did he play and what was the name of the team?
Well, we had 11 people give us the correct answer. Though everyone said the Butte Bombers. I think one person said the Butt Bombers, which I kind of like.
I want to know exactly
Butt Bombers. Definitely the Butt Bombers.
So we're going to go, which was a hockey team.
Yeah. So, Sean and Tim. Long before he was messing about with motorcycles, he was a professional hockey player. And of course, Evel Knievel he was born in Butte, Montana. He was a Butte guy. So his team was the Butte Bombers.
Do you think the concussions had anything to do with his craziness?
Probably.
So I wanted to see if you guys can help us. If you guys... let's go to Sean just so we make it easier.
Sure.
I have 11 names written down here, and they're numbered 1 through 11. I just need you to pick a number 1 through 11.
Well,
that's going to be the winner.
We're going to go lucky number 7.
Lucky number 7. It's Jenna Novick.
Yeah.
Jenna.
Hey. Yeah, and this is perfect because Jenna has a young son.
Oh, that's perfect.
Awesome.
Yes, that's rad. I'm glad that happened.
Nice pick, Sean.
Jenna, who's actually been on our show. She's an old friend of mine from Atlanta. So congratulations, Jenna. I'm going to send you an Evel Knievel toy. But we're not done yet because we have next week's question. Now I'm going to give this question. You guys don't answer if you know it, but I just want to know if you do know it. All right, everyone. If you'd like to win an Evel Knievel toy, you're going to send the answer to this question, send it to recyclemotorcyclegarage@gmail.com. And if you get it correct, you will get an Evel Knievel toy. Exactly. And I don't know if you guys have seen our video. We are having too much fun. If you go onto YouTube and type in Evel Can Fly, you'll see the video that Jim and I made playing with that. So here is the question. Which actor famously had Evel wave a gun in his face while forcing him to read a script? Have you guys heard this story before?
I have not.
No.
Yeah, this was in his, I think the Evel Knievel movie, and it's in his biography. It's a famous, well, there's a few Evel Knievel movies, but yeah, so what's the name of the actor who had Evel wave a gun in his face and force him to read a script? What an audition, right? By gunpoint. That's crazy. So there you go. Send that to recyclemotorcyclegarage@gmail.com. Well, I wanted to thank you guys for coming on and giving us some hope
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Sure.
We'll see you there. We will see you there.
Jim and Liza were definitely looking to see you.
Join
Heck
us.
yeah.
Yes, please join us. Emma and Mike, come out to Built to Ride tour.
Oh, heck yeah.
Come on. Knock, I know you didn't throw your name out there for anything, but if you want to come join us somewhere.
Dude, high pipe, man.
Fuck Knock.
High pipe. I'll probably do high pipe.
There you go.
That would be awesome.
Get out here.
XR.
Yeah,
I got an
would be
XR
awesome.
that's street legal, so that'll be fun.
Oh man, that would be great. And Bagel, you talk too much, so you're not invited to anything. Sorry.
Bagel's trying to get his scooter back together.
Yeah, once I get this running, I'll be there.
Yeah, you guys remember on Top Gear when they were doing those like crazy like long distance things, and they were being chased by some like horribly wretched car or motorcycle that was their punishment. If their car broke down, they had to drive.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Bagel's going through that right now because if he doesn't get his Vespa back together, he has to take my Honda Elite home.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
I am working furiously in the garage.
I got a Honda Elite 80. I heard you have the 150.
Oh, I know. I got a 250
Oh, the 250. Okay.
Oh, wow.
with a touring windshield. Yes.
The
Nice.
only bike that was actually styled after a guinea pig. Oh, it's not a good looking machine.
It's not. Does it have the front trunk that opens up there? Like, oh yeah.
Yes,
They're amazing.
it's definitely
machine.
chunky.
Oh, my
So
God.
I'm going to give you guys an option. If you're welcome to stay on with us if you want. We are going to keep talking. We're going to talk a little more detail about Emma's Goldwing, or if you want to bail out,
Wow.
you're good on that too. What would
Yeah,
you?
I'm definitely. I would love to stay, but I got the family calling, so I'm gonna bail.
All right.
And
And
I'm there with Tim, but I really appreciate you guys having us on.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
has been fantastic. I can't. Thank you so much.
And I just
Tim,
wanted to
John, this
say,
is awesome. Thank you.
before you go, Tim, I did want to admire your collection of guitars behind you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Those are my father's guitars, and
Nice.
fortunately, it's become a family affair. So both my teenage boys play pretty regularly.
Nice.
That's
Hell
great.
yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well, yeah. Thank you guys very much, and do stay in touch. Let us know if there are any updates to
Absolutely.
these events, and we will post that. And I'll stay in touch about that adventure rally because I'm
Yeah.
stoked.
Yes.
Can't wait to see you guys there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
All right. Take care,
All right,
everybody.
thanks, guys.
All right,
you.
thanks, guys.
All right.
Cheers.
Bye, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
All righty.
Be safe.
Cheers.
Bye.
care.
So, Emma,
Hello.
the
Wait,
Goldwing.
Can I say
Hey,
something really
Emma.
quick?
What?
Like, as a consolation prize, if you don't get an Evel Knievel motorcycle stunt
Yes.
cycle, can we send him like a thing of lighter fluid so you can make your own like bigger fire or something? Like Evel Knievel pyro starter set, you know?
Like some of the black market sparklers we were using.
Yeah, totally.
The key is the secret oil is tiki torch oil.
Oh,
That's the
yes.
key for smoke and longevity.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, we had too much fun with that. So Emma, you were
Yes,
on
darling.
the Cleveland Moto podcast.
I
with,
was.
Knock was and Bagel.
Yeah.
Jim, did he get you this week? I'm just curious. He's like
Who?
Phil. He's picking off all my misfits, man.
Phil who? Who's Phil?
Okay, good. We're safe. You were talking about your Goldwing, and
Yes.
I know you love it when I impersonate you.
Yeah,
But,
do it. Because it's like being. You can close your eyes, and it's so authentic.
We don't talk about it enough, but when you were talking about it, you're like, "Oh yes, darling, I took a turbo from a Subaru, and I just slapped it on. I got a pin from a Harley, and then I got a Gixxer caliper, and I think the Yamaha side covers, and you just kind of rattle off all the things you've thrown
Right.
on the bike. And I'm sitting here going, "Oh, hold on, these parts don't just fit."
Well, one of them was a goblet. Tell her about the goblet, Emma.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, it's got a goblet on it.
On the turbo.
Oh,
Yeah.
So I know from working on bikes myself that it's not that easy to put things together.
No, it's
Like,
not.
to put a caliper on a bike, it has to fit onto the bracket that's made to mount to that bike. They're not all the same. And side covers. Everybody knows about those damn little pointy thingies that always snap off eventually.
Right.
But they have to fit onto those points on the frame.
Yes.
Or a Subaru Turbo. You don't just bolt it onto your bike magically. I wanted to learn more about your secrets. How do you put things together? Did you say the mirrors are from a Jensen Healy? Am I making that up?
Well, no. It's actually got it's got a boost gauge on it, and the boost gauge is sitting on the pedestal. Is the rear view mirror off a Jensen Healy?
There it is.
So this is the segment of the podcast called Emma's Secrets.
Yes. Do you want to know all my secrets? Do you?
I just want to know,
maybe?
all right. So it is a Gixxer caliper, right?
No, actually, the calipers. No, the discs are off a Gixxer, but a very, very early one, like an old Slingshot. And the reason I use those discs, I mean, everything I do, I try and do for a reason. Is, a disc is a disc, right? Well, it ain't, because
the bolt holes.
There's the bolt holes, but what interested me more than anything else is I'm absolutely obsessed with Slingshot Calipers, because Slingshot discs, because the carriers in the middle, the alloy part, has got big round holes in it. And
are they vented rotors? Those like.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Those things are awesome.
But they've got the center part that actually connects the wheel. It's got big round holes in it. And for a vintage bike, especially if you had wire wheels, spoke wheels, these holy rotors look really, really good. So that's how I wanted to do it. So, if you want to focus on the discs, what I had to do was I had to get these Gixxer discs onto a Honda hub, because I was using the standard Honda hub. And the biggest issue was the Honda hub had 6 holes and the Gixxer discs had 5. So you're like, oh, bloody hell. So the first thing you need to do is you center the disc. And you center the disc. I made a little adapter on my lathe to center it. And then I drilled new holes in it. So now it's got 11 holes in it, because it's got the original 6.
So it can fit. It's a universal mount. It can fit anything.
Well, but then you bolt it on, it works, but it looks like shit because it's got all these redundant holes in it. And so now I thought, so now what am I going to do is, so I made a little stainless steel plate that fits over the redundant holes. So it all looks very congruous. And, it all distills down to the same thing. So you've got, let's use the side panel analogy.
Yeah.
If you've got a side panel that you want to put on a frame and it doesn't line up, you've got 2 choices. You change the side panel or you change the frame. And you take whichever is easier. And it might be changing the frame. Given the choice between changing a plastic side panel and changing the frame, I'll always change the frame. It's far easier, because you just hack off the bracket and just tack weld it on where you need it. If you want to start pulling plastic mounts off the side panel and re-welding them back on, that gets quite tricky. So you just go for the easiest. The biggest pride that I take in my custom bikes, and it took me a while to get there, is the ability to step back and look at them as I'm building them, and not just look at the details, because I love little I love little details.
Big picture stuff.
But look at the bigger picture. How's it sitting? Is it long enough? Is it low enough? Does it sit high in the back? Does it sit high in the front? And actually make a pretty bike when you stand back and look at it. And when I'd go to the custom shows in the 70s, there was a lot of builders back then, and there were some really, really great builders. And there was a couple of other builders, and you'd look at the bike and you'd look at it closely, and it had beautiful components on it. And they'd either be really high quality bought components or high quality made components. And you'd do a close-up of the bike and it was absolutely gorgeous. And then you'd step back and look at it and think, oh, there's something wrong about that thing. Either the rake was too high or the, knock. Yeah, you're about to say something.
Yeah, relating this to cars, this is how I think some people look at wheels in the showroom and then they put them on their cars and they just look like dog shit because they can't see the overall picture of what wheels look like on certain kinds of cars, Right,
exactly. And remember, when you customize a bike or when you customize a car or when you choose what clothes you're going to wear, it's a very, very personal interpretation of your own style. I painted the Goldwing the perfect color for that bike. I know Liza's scratching her head.
Can you give us a walk around? Can you give us a walk around, an exclusive walk around?
No, we're not getting into the whole project now. Just
no, because it will be revealed. Mm-hmm. It's going to be revealed at a public show. I was going to reveal it at the Quail, but that went the way of the dodo. So
that's appropriate.
I got a question, Emma.
Yes.
Could you walk us through? I'm just curious. Like it was so beautiful because you do have the goblet, which I was kind of laughing about as the intake onto the turbo. But talk about the placement of the turbo, actually where it sits in the bike, and what happens from the turbo to I think your custom-made exhaust. It's quite fascinating what happens from when the air gets sucked in to where the air gets pushed out in the sense of what you made.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's all made because you don't. Nothing, you can't buy anything for it. So the way a turbo works is it's a turbine, hence turbo, and there's actually two turbines. One is driven and one drives. So the one that's driven is driven by the exhaust gas. So the first thing you need to do is you need to take your exhaust and you've got to figure out how to plumb the exhaust so it can drive the turbo. Now, in the case of my Goldwing, that's the second placement for the turbo. My original placement for the turbo was going to be underneath, right underneath the swing arm. And I was just going to drive the exhaust straight into it and then have the turbo blowing up into the engine. What stopped me there is a turbo needs an oil feed. And the trouble is, if you have a very low mounted turbo, you need a means of getting the oil back up into the engine. So I would have had to have a second oil pump just for the turbo. So I thought, oh, screw that. This is getting way too complicated. So what I did was I put the turbo, it's basically, a Goldwing doesn't have a gas tank. It has what's called a shelter that looks like a tank. It's basically got an empty box. So the turbo is underneath the back of the what looks like the gas tank. So that's where it lives. It lives high. It's right underneath the joint of the front of the seat and the back of the gas tank. So that's where the turbo lives.
How far is it from the exhaust, the turbo?
Couple of feet. About 2 feet. Yeah,
okay.
So it's close.
Okay. How many pounds are you thinking of making out of that thing? What would you say?
I can make as many pounds as I want. When people talk about turbos, any turbo that you buy can make up to 20 pounds. I mean, you wouldn't want to ride 20 pounds on the street.
Sure.
But what determines the amount of boost that actually goes into the engine is your wastegates and your blow-off valve. And your wastegates, basically, when your turbo builds up to, say, in my case, I said it at 12 pounds in the intake, it sends a vacuum signal, or in my case, a pressure signal to the wastegates and said, blow it off. And so the wastegates open and all the exhaust gases come out of the wastegates and not into the turbo. So it cuts off the pressure.
Are you gonna install a turkey gobbler on the wastegate?
Well, mine, no, that's the blow-off valve.
Yeah.
gobblers are
Sorry.
the blow-off
Yes,
valves.
blow-off valve. Yeah.
No, mine's got a sneezy little blow-off valve that kind of it goes, shoo. It sounds like a really loud sneeze, and it's
Nice.
like a little trumpet on the front. So it's got my wastegates are really loud, because normally a wastegate, when it dumps, it goes back through the exhaust. Mine is just completely open, so when the wastegate's open, it sounds like somebody having an accident in their trousers.
I'm excited. I want to hear this thing.
How perfect for you.
Mhm.
Yes. But
But
you know, that's what it distills down to. I mean, you have a choice. You have a component, and you want to put the component there. And it could be a turbo, it could be a fender, it could be a disc, doesn't matter. What is your easiest route? Do you modify the component, or do you modify the bit where it's going?
So I've heard you say two things that I think are part of the answer here. One of them was lathe, and the other was welder.
Yes.
So what are those two of the main tools that you're using to make things fit together?
Yeah, pretty much. And I mean, I'm a very, very marginal machinist, but I'm a good finisher, and I'm a very, very marginal welder, but I'm a great grinder. So
I'm curious. I was down in your shop the other day, and then I got to see Tubbo. What a
yeah, you
beautiful
actually
machine.
got
The
to see it in the flesh, and I saw your pupils get really big.
Oh, all of us did. The paint is beautiful. I totally forgot what I was going to ask because I got so excited about seeing Tubbo. I know the front fender. Talking about like the skills it takes to do. It seemed basic, but it was probably more complicated than it looked. The front fender with that fender with the brace you built on it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely.
It's like the stuff you would see on old British desert sleds.
Yeah, it's kind of got that feel to it. And I wanted, when I built that bike, it's a 1975 bike, and I wanted to keep that flavor. When you see it, you're obviously looking at a very, very old bike. You're looking at a 45-year-old bike, and I wanted to kind of retain that flavor. But, you know, I wanted the modern stuff on it. I wanted the big rotors. I wanted the radial tires, but I wanted wire-spoke wheels. And the front fender is a perfect example of that, because I like the desert sled look from the 60s with the big braces, but I wanted it to have a certain elegance to it. And of course, back in the 70s, there was a lot of chrome on bikes. So I made the hoops, and I just got the diameter about right. And then I basically assembled it on the bike. So it's very, very difficult to describe what the fender brace looks like on this thing. But it's kind of two very, very burly hoops that go one in front and one behind the forks, that you could kind of think of them as fender stays, but they're a lot burlier. They're like 1 inch diameter. That's really thick wall tubing, and it really stiffens up the forks. But what I actually did was I assembled the forks in their triple trees. I put the axle in, and then I did the final weld on the braces with it in situ. So the alignment almost took care of itself. And then I hung the fender off them. And it all fits together very good, very well. But you see, that fender's a great example. That fender was for a 21-inch Harley front wheel, and I'm running 17s on it. So I had to pound the fender to match the diameter of the wheel, because, you know, it's got to look like it belongs there. When I first bolted it on, the diameter was just crazy wrong, and it was kind of sitting up at the front, sitting up at the back, like a piece of toast that was curling up. And so I had to pound it down, but I didn't want to screw up the finish on it or the natural curve. So I made
can't
a
imagine
buck.
how you do that. How you pound it without messing up the finish or natural curve? I can't even imagine.
I did it on my knee.
There you go.
I actually did it on my knee, and I thought, if I hit it too hard, it'll bloody hurt. So I used a hide mallet, and I kind of had it on my knee, and I was drawing it round and whacking it as I went. I'm like, oh, fucking hell, that hurts a lot. I'm hitting it too hard. And that's how I got it to that shape.
Oh my God.
But
beautiful.
But here's the eccentricity of my build is if you look at that bike, you'll say it is a pure cafe racer. And to a certain extent it is, but it's got high handlebars on it. And I was so determined to keep the original turn signals on it.
Oh my God, they're huge. I'm like, what did you get these off an RV? Good
they're
Lord.
like
the size of a tennis ball.
I hate
What's that, Mike? Yeah, exactly.
I hate him. You remember Dave's? I've been hammering on him and his is from the 80s, so that looks like E.T.'s fucking head coming out of the front of his bike, and I just want to rip them fucking things. I gave him like 3 or 4 different pairs. It was like, please, you're killing me. Take these fucking lights off.
I guarantee you, Mike, you have never seen turn signals as big as these things. They
are huge.
There's one thing they do very much appreciate about your build is you try to make it look like factory.
Yes.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
and
this is something that the company would have done, you know?
Right, exactly. And the original concept for the Goldwing, even though there's none of the bodywork that's standard anymore. I mean, the shelters come off another bike, the tail fairings come off another bike. I wanted to do it in factory colors. I wanted to do it in Antares red with a scarlet and orange pinstripe, like it was when it left the factory. And my very, very dear friend Mike said, don't. Not least, it won't look special because it'll just look like a factory bike. And if you enter it in a show, everyone's just going to walk past it because they say that's just a stock Goldwing and they won't have a clue what you've done to it. Paint it in a crazy color. And I did.
So, all right, I have a question specifically about the seat. What is the seat off of?
Oh, the base is, I made the base. Okay. I just made the base out of sheet steel, but the hump is off a Triumph Street Cup.
And how did you attach that to the bike?
So what I did, I made the base and then I got the base to where I wanted it to sit correctly on the bike. Mm-hmm. And then the hump, I drilled the sides of the hump at the very, very front, put a single screw in. And then I welded a little nut in the back of the seat base where it kind of curls over the side. So, you know, basically I had a freestanding hump on the back. So if I want to put things in there, I can. There's room for a battery in there and some electrics and, you know, a sandwich or something or my stash, you know. I've got room back there. And if I want to get in there, I just need an Allen key to get in there.
What I'll say is when I saw the bike and Emma kind of brushed over this or whatever, is that the cafe racer feel. I mean, think about that for a second. This is a Goldwing that she's like, yeah, it kind of has a cafe racer feel to it. But that little tail cowling that or whatever it is, that really gives the bike that cafe look. It's very aggressive and kind of forward standing with the handlebars and all that. But that little cowling on the back is key.
Yeah, and that was a kind of look I got by accident, Jim, because we had a conversation about this bike on the Misfits about a month ago, and I said I'm running out of real estate at the front.
Hey, Emma?
Yes?
I don't mean to interrupt you, but Mike's got to go, so I want to say good night.
Oh, good night, Mike.
He's got Freya with him and has to put the daughter down. He's got daddy duty.
Yeah.
Bye, Mikey.
Say bye-bye. Say bye-bye.
Night, Freya.
Thanks for the memories.
Bye, Freya.
Bye, sweetheart.
All right, see you, Mike.
Bye, guys.
See you, Mike.
All right.
What a charming child.
Yeah, that tail looks really good on the bike.
Yeah, and so it's kind of got a cafe look, but it's not at all formulaic. It's a cafe build, but it's got giant friggin' turn signals. It's got high handlebars. It's its own thing.
Did you keep the gas tank or whatever you call it?
Oh no, because the turbo lives where the gas tank.
Yeah, because that's one thing I find hard to do is to match up the gas tank with the seat so that there's a nice flow to that. What'd you do with the gas tank?
Well, the gas tank on a Goldwing is under the seat. So that's where the kind of the turbo lives now, or the plumbing for the turbo. So what I'm having to do is I'm making a fuel cell that goes under the shelter at the front. And the fuel cell's gonna kind of sit on top of the plenum chamber on the engine. So it's just going to be a little box. The weakest part of that bike is it's going to be its fuel capacity, because I really haven't got much room for more than a gallon and a half of fuel. So if I go on a run, I'm always going to be looking for fuel.
I think we got to wrap up this because we're going to have continuing stories from the Goldwing. But I wanted to thank you because I know when you just rattle stuff off like that, there's tricks and there's secrets and there's things that we feel in, and that's what really makes an exceptional builder. Somebody who can put these things together seamlessly.
All my secrets. There's the thing I'm really the proudest of all of my builds is I try and include an elegance to them. It's very, very important to me that, you know, there's a style, there's a flair, there's an elegance to the build. It's very, very important. So thank you, darling.
Yeah, I want to get more information, and I need to go see the bike. Hey, you guys, real quick, I wanted to make some announcements. Santa Cruz Moto Film Festival, it's a thing. It was supposed to be yesterday.
Oh yeah.
It's another one of these events that got canceled, but that didn't stop us from having the judges view the films because we already had it curated. We had a lot of great films, and we've got some winners that we announced. I wanted to share these.
We're judging you right now in podcast land. We are judging you.
And a big thanks to all the judges who participated and to all the filmmakers who submitted their films. There were even some great films that we couldn't even select to play.
Can I just say something before you say anything else? I was one of the judges, as was Jim.
And Bagel.
And the standard of every single film, it just blew me out of the water. How beautifully filmed all of these things were. I was absolutely blown out of the water by the submissions. I really was. The standard was far higher than I expected.
Right. So I am going to announce first in the category of most inspirational, this went to The Racer, which is a great movie out of Scotland about this young woman who races, and her dad is her crew chief, the engine builder and everything. And it's about her racing, but it's also about the relationship that they have.
Right.
Him empowering her to race, and it was a really great movie to see that relationship between them.
That's right.
I can relate because like I raise kids too, and it's like you can tell there's a lot of dynamic that goes on and how close those two were and the passion they both had. And we've, you can see that stuff goes sideways sometimes, but it so worked for them. And to see how happy she was and how happy they both were when you win. Anyway, it was a great movie. And I thought the videography was great.
I had a complaint. There were not sufficient kilts or porridge oats in that film. It was a Scottish film. Yeah. There needed to be
not even a wee dram.
See,
I want dram, porridge oats,
even a wee
and
dram.
I voted it best foreign language film.
Oh,
I didn't ken what you mean, lass.
Next category, best short, and this was a really cool one. This one is called Broken Tooth, aka Broken Tooth.
Yeah.
That was
friggin' loony.
Yeah, this one is about this guy Oliver who rides up in northern Canada.
He was wearing a kilt. He was wearing a kilt in 3 feet of snow.
He's riding on like ice roads and stuff and doing extreme riding. It's like 30 degrees below. He actually he froze his cornea. Blind for a while. this is
He couldn't take his helmet off for like half an hour because it was frozen.
It was frozen to his face. I know. And actually, we provided a link so that you can watch Broken Tooth. He gave us a link, and we are sharing it on our recycle page. Oh, it looks like Knock had to go. So
yeah, Knock's
gone. Poop.
He's got to go poop. So congratulations to Oliver and Broken Tooth. And then for our winner for the feature was actually a tie between two films. The first one was Northeast BDR, NEBDR. What this is the back road discovery routes. And they go out on these adventure bikes and they plot out these amazing roads through different areas in the United States and provide them to people so that they can go do these same trips that are part small town pavement, part dirt. Some of it is, they have different splits. And this one featured our own friend Jocelyn Snow.
Hometown girl and friend of the podcast, Miss Snow.
Yeah, it's a very well produced. So that one is called.
And you know, the scenery was just absolutely
beautifully
stunning. Done. Just stunning.
And my favorite.
My comment on that one, I'm sorry, I'll say my comment on that is Jocelyn Snow's enthusiasm for motorcycling was contagiously intoxicating. And I really wanted to go ride motorcycles after Jocelyn stoked me out after that. It was great.
I was going to say her shit talking was my favorite.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
But the part that I really liked the most was there was one section where she was really having a tough time getting through, and then she finally got it. And she got through it. I was just like, yeah, go Jocelyn!
Yeah.
So congratulations for the people over at the Backroad Discovery Route. And then that tied with Motorcycle Man, the movie about Dave Roper, who has been racing every year for like 42 years now, who I met here at Laguna Seca.
That was inspirational. I kind of, on the side, I weighted films a little bit heavy on how much I wanted to go ride motorcycles after I watched them. And after watching, Dave Roper is the vintage racer two-stroke man.
Mm-hmm.
He makes his own ham sandwiches in his van, and he races motorcycles all the time. He was fascinating. I thought the story was fascinating.
You know, what made it for me is Dave is so likable.
Yeah.
He is such a likable character. And I'm not suggesting for a moment that everybody else in all the other films weren't, but there's just such an openness and warmth to him. And that really made it for me, that film. It's just who he was.
Well, you want to know what's
a good way to put it.
What's full circle that I love about this, you guys may or may not recall, Daniel, the filmmaker who made Motorcycle Man, he was on our podcast like a year ago when he was, I think it was a little over a year, when he was raising the funds to do the movie Motorcycle Man. And we did an interview and we donated to the fund to help make the movie, and then came and won an award at our festival. So how cool is that? So Motorcycle Man. So NEBDR you can find it on Vimeo. They do have a small fee to pay to see it. And I believe it is going to be coming out streaming on one of the large streaming sites. I can't say just yet. Yes, Jim?
Hey, Liza, are you gonna make mention of the other films? Because I thought all the submissions were quite courageous and fun to watch. And anyway, yeah.
And then Motorcycle Man is not available publicly yet either. These are newer films that are still working the circuit. And same with The Racer. It's not available to publicly view. That one was affiliated with BBC and had funding, and they can't just put things for free while it's still making the rounds. But you can watch Broken Tooth, and we did put that up on Recycle. And I'm going to say there is one other that I think you guys want to give an honorable mention to. Because both of you, Emma and Jim, you both said this was one of your favorites.
You know what?
It's got to be
Boutonniere.
Boutonniere.
If you haven't seen Boutonniere yet, and this is the submission from the Handsome Asians, just up the road in San Francisco, it is an extraordinary film. Watch it. It's a wonderful story. It's gloriously acted. You know what? My own personal thing is, I think I'm not saying it's aging. I think maybe they could update the soundtrack a tiny bit, maybe. But it's consistently my favorite motorcycle film. I don't know, what could you add to it, Jim?
Well, I'll say I had it for my favorite film. It was tied with another favorite film.
As was mine.
Yeah, and so I tied for first. And what I liked about the Handsome Asians MC film, and they've had a couple, the Rattler, and a couple more that are worth seeing as well. And you can find these. It was a story that was unique. I had the premise is not a story I'd heard before. And what was nice about it, I watched it with a friend of mine who's dear, who does not ride motorcycles because a friend of her.
Hold on, we got a lot of exterior noise coming in. Bagel and Knock, can you mute? Thank you.
And so my friend had a friend get killed on a bike at an early age, and this movie speaks to that. And it was interesting because I could see her wincing as we were watching the film. There's death in it, right? I'll just say that. And it comes full circle in a way that was very unexpected. So I was stoked on the fact that it was very creatively written, and they took a lot of time to edit the movie. There was a lot of effort put into it. I love Knox right on his motorcycle. That's awesome. there was a lot of effort put into the editing. I can only imagine how much film is on the editing room floor. And to me, that's not the impressive part. The impressive part is what they kept and when they made the edits and how they made the edits were really well timed. And it was just a bunch of knuckleheads like us making a movie. So I thought it was courageous. It was awesome. So boutonniere, Emma. That's my thoughts.
Yeah, same with me. And of course, I've got to have a shout out to the Handsome Asians. They did an extraordinary job of directing myself and Liza. In short, the acting.
Is that a possibility? That's possible? Direct Liza? That's a thing?
I was not
I think she wrote the script.
No, it was wonderful. It'll bring tears to your eyes.
They had drone footage on that.
Hey guys, I hate to wrap this up, but we are running short on time. So yeah, we posted the videos that we could share. Thank you to the judges. Thank you to everyone who submitted. And we're already working on organizing our next film festival. So we'll be announcing that soon. It's going to be in August. But another quick announcement. So you guys know the t-shirts that have been going out to the Patreon supporters. I have some extras to sell. We're limited run, but if anyone is interested in buying one of our new t-shirts, if you go to our recycle page on Facebook, you'll see the image that I created. I had an artist create that. It looks pretty cool. I've got.
Can I get a dibs on medium?
Well, yeah, you better get it fast because I only have a couple. Medium through 3XL I have available. If you would like to get that, just send a payment to recyclemotorcyclegarage@gmail.com via PayPal and provide your address and what size you want. If we are out of that size, I will refund you immediately and let you know. But recyclemotorcyclegarage@gmail.com, PayPal $25. Tell me what size, and I will get you a shirt until they run out. So yeah, Knock, you better get down here. Get a shirt from me.
Will do.
I'll set one aside.
Knock needs man size.
So hey, we got 2 emails I want to read real quick, okay? First one, you guys remember our friend Daria who came and met us up in San Francisco? Daria from Tokyo.
Don't forget her. Heck yeah.
She says, hey there, Misfits. So my summer plans for a West Coast moto trip were foiled by the Rona. I was hoping to get a chance to swing by the garage and say hello, but alas, such is life. The silver lining is that I got to spend my lazy lockdown days catching up on the misadventures of my favorite Misfits. Happy to hear that you guys are staying COVID safe while incorporating a reasonable dose of irresponsibility with epic backyard fire antics for evil. She says she managed to squeeze in a dirt bike trip in Indonesia before the pandemic took off, and she proudly sported her Motorcycles and Misfits t-shirt the whole way.
Oh, look at the picture.
Yeah.
That's great.
Selamat jumpa.
Exactly. She says it is infused with 5 years of dirt, sweat, and adventure and has been a good luck charm on multiple off-road rides around Asia.
That's great.
Isn't that great?
Dude,
That's
for
the
sending
way
the
our shirt
picture.
should be
That's
worn,
great.
man.
Heck yeah,
Nice.
I'm
like
like
a boss.
Knock, who uses it for a diaper. I haven't figured that one out yet. Super absorbent, is it not?
I would say so. Time will
And
tell.
All right, got time for one more, and this one is from Adam Jones, and
Hey, Adam.
this one cracks me up. Good day, gang.
Good day,
Hey,
Adam.
put his shrimp on the body.
Hope you're doing well, and great work on keeping the show on the road. I have a question regarding my
Blimey.
charging system. I have a 2010 Vulcan 900cc. I've heard Miss Emma talking in the past how a crook battery can bugger up other parts of your charging system. Is the Vulcan one of these bikes? I've had 3 or 4 occasions where I've had to jump start it from my car. Question. I attempted to remove the battery from said bike other weekend. It took a bit because the battery looked like it was pregnant. Crikey, what would cause this? I'm in the process of getting another. Here's a pic for your reference. Thanks for an entertaining show. Keeping up the great work. Jonesy from Madura, Victoria, Australia.
Well, if you find your battery's pregnant, you got to keep it away from the wallabies.
Can you speak
You gotta lance
so I
it like
can
a
see?
boil.
Can I see that picture?
Let's see if I can show you. Can you see?
Oh my God.
That battery is on swole patrol.
So, what happened to the battery?
So what happened to the battery? And it's a not uncommon problem with sealed for life batteries.
Okay.
His bike is overcharging. Your bike is overcharging, Adam. And it's quite a common problem with Kawasaki's. So what you need to do is, number one, you need a new battery.
Mm-hmm.
Motor battery isn't a bad battery. You know where I'm at with my UASAs. To me, it's UASA or nothing. I think you're going to be into a regulator rectifier as well. So what you need to do, put your new battery on there, get a good quality voltmeter. Get the battery up to operating temperature, that's the key, and then put the voltmeter on and rev the bike. And the voltmeter should go up to about 14 volts, maybe 14 and a half, and stop. I have a horrible suspicion yours is going to go up to 14 and a half, 15, 16, 17. And if it does, you need a new regulator rectifier. But yeah, everything distills down. Generally, good rectifiers don't just go bad. I think it's been trying to work a very cooked battery for a long time, which is why it's probably given up the ghost. So, sorry, Adam, I think you're going to be into a bit of money with this one.
Doc, what you got?
Yeah, did he mention that he was charging it with his car? And I was wondering if he had his car on while he was charging the bike. I was wondering if that might have been an issue too, or
no. I think he said he just had to jump it. He just had to jump his car.
Okay.
And it's which came first, the chicken or the egg? I mean,
sure.
Did the battery get knackered and take out the regulator rectifier, or did the reg go out and take out the battery? It's one or the other. But if the charging system may be fine with a decent battery in it. I don't think it will be. I think he's going to have to put a regulator rectifier on that bike.
So I'm going to offer an alternative to this.
Yes.
Add lots more lights.
Ooh, that's one.
I like it.
Just use up all that extra energy. So go for visibility. Add extra lights. There you go.
I've got a similar LISA plan. Is remove all the bulbs from your bike, which are 12 volt, and replace them with domestic light bulbs, which I think in Australia are 240 volt bulbs. And these will act as electrical sinks.
They'll look like little suns.
Yes, it'll be like little suns. Yeah, Adam, I wish I had better news for you. I mean, it's, a Volca 900's a bloody wonderful bike. So don't just let a little hiccup like this get you down. But I think you definitely need a battery. You know that. I think you're going to be into another component as well. Good luck, mate. And please keep us posted.
Well, there you go. And, you know, we didn't talk much about the fact that we did open the garage today. Emma, what did you think? Did it go well?
Yeah, I think it went well. I mean, it was a subdued start. I think a lot of people are feeling it out. But, oh, boy, it felt good being back there.
It did. And I'm going to admit, like, at first my stance was only people working on bikes can come. This isn't a social thing. But, I mean, really, the garage is a social thing. A lot of people did show up. And I've never been so happy to see Jeremy. I'll tell you that.
Oh,
but everybody was wearing their masks, their gloves. I know. And everybody was standing 6 feet apart for the most part. And it was just fun. It was at one point, Bagel was working on the scooter in the tent. And I was sitting like at the corner of the tent. And then somebody else was at the other corner of the tent. And then somebody went to the other corner. Like we all kind of found a spot to nest and keep our distance, but still be social.
Well, you know, here in California, we've been doing this for nearly 6 weeks now, so we better be getting pretty bloody good at it by now.
Yeah.
So, it was nice. I swung by today. I didn't plan on staying just because I'm like, you know, it's not the right thing to do. I just wanted to kind of see what it was like. And I ended up staying for like, I don't know, half an hour. And it was quite pleasant. Everyone distanced. People had masks. I thought it was responsibly done. So good job.
And that's the point, I think. I mean, that was a good test today. I think we can do this. And we provided wipes so people could wipe down tools, and they had their tubs to put the tools there in. You know who didn't put away their tools or clean them after they used them?
And do you know why? Because you yelled at me. You yelled at me. And you said you need to go home now.
And you left all the stuff on the couch you were supposed to take with you.
I know.
And you left all your tools out. So
I know. Because you yelled at me and you said I had to leave now. Can I just broach the thing on the couch? I have had some of the loveliest letters and really the most charming letters.
There they are, right there next to Bagel.
There you go. And I read every single one. And my promise to you is everyone is going to get their Emma's Army sticker. If you've sent me or are going to send me a stamped addressed envelope, I am going to send you Emma's Army stickers. At the moment, my printer is closed down indefinitely because of, you know, I think he might have got the Rona, but nevertheless, the printer's closed.
That's a clap.
As soon as the printer opens, he's going to do me a new batch of Emma's Army stickers, and I'm going to get them all out to you. So please, thank you for being patient. Please don't think that I'm ignoring you all. They really are. They're lovely letters. Thank you all so much.
There you go. So I think that was a good test. We're going to continue next weekend. And I have a question for Bagel. I see you have your hand raised, Jim. One sec. I have a question for Bagel. He's still in the garage. I'm about to go out there. So Bagel, here's the question.
Yes.
What are you riding home, a Vespa or a Honda Elite?
Well, I'm going to show you what I'm going to be riding home right now.
Oh, let's see. Drum roll, please.
There it is.
Oh, yeah.
All back together.
It is a Vespa.
Awesome. Well done.
Yep. I'll be riding my bike home tonight. Thank you.
And it should steer a lot better.
I sure hope so.
Should we tell him about the grease on his head?
No.
Just let him go home like that? Okay.
Yes.
Oh, that's like war paint. That's straight up war paint because he's a bad motherfucker.
All right, Jim, what do you have to add?
I thought we were going to talk about tools tonight, no?
Yeah, we ran out of time. We're going to save
that.
I got one up here.
My
God. Jim.
I was going to show the tool I had.
All right, just for that, I'm sharing this video with everyone.
we don't want to see your tool, Jim.
Just for that, I'm sharing the video.
Good night.
Yeah.
It's just a question.
Well, my tool will be waiting here for you, Jim. Whenever you need it.
I think I may be swinging by in the next couple of days.
I'll bet you are.
Yeah,
it's a heavy tool as well. I had it in my hand earlier.
Yeah, it's a handful, isn't it?
It's quite.
Would you two like a room alone or something? Oh my God!
No, we've got a garage.
Looking at Bagel where he's standing right now, do you see the sign that's on the wall behind him?
Say something, Bagel.
It says barber shop. So I have a barber shop sign. Yeah, it's making me thinking, everyone needs a haircut. I think maybe next week in the garage, I'm going to cut people's hair with the Dremel. What do you think?
I think that's yes.
I'm not sure that would work so well.
Let's try it. I think people are desperate enough. It'll be fun.
You first, Liza.
I think so too.
Awesome. So I think we're ready to wrap up. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Usually this is where I tell you to go to motorcyclesandmisfits.com, find the links to everything, but you will find a dead link. We are still trying to get our page rebuilt. Unfortunately, we lost all the data, and we are rebuilding a new page. So bear with us, and thank you to everyone who emailed us to let us know. But the good news is you can still find all of our crazy videos on YouTube. You can still find everything on Instagram and Facebook.
And the Book of Faces, yeah. So you can find us.
Exactly. So thank you, everyone, for listening. Especially thank you to all of our Patreon subscribers. Hope you're enjoying those shirts. Send me more pictures. I'm loving seeing these pictures being sent to us. And go out there and ride. Just do it safely and do it alone or with a buddy. That's my advice. Anyone else have last parting words? We're good?
Ride wheelie.
There we go. All right. Thanks, everyone. This is Liza.
Emma, darling.
Bagel.
Naked Jim. Be safe.
And we're out of here.
Cool.
Cool, fool.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right. Ciao, guys.
I've been working on my ass. Does my ass look good?
Oh, you're right.
I've been doing some squats.
Oh, my.
Oh, my God.
Come on. I've been sitting there for 2 hours with my pants off. I'm not going to, not
Just
do
waiting.
something. Good Lord.
Just waiting to show it all off.